Mayo Experience.
That Mayo Experience. That Mayo Experience. That Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by DraftKings. It's a mini version. We got to bring the golf. People have been asking for the golf show to come back, so we can do the miniaturized version. If you miss me and Fienberg, we're on the NFL Pick Show every single week, which is like 8 hours long, so you can go check that out up on Mayo Media Network right now. Reminder to everyone to play in the Swing Season One and Done, FantasyGolfChampionships.com. There is one $100 contest remaining. I think there's like 15 spots left. I just joined it today. It starts at the Fortinet, which we're talking about right now, so give you something to follow golf. Make one pick a week and make it good on yourself. Go to FantasyGolfChampionships.com. Jeffrey, did you enjoy the mini break from golf, or have you been were you sweating Aberg's win and you were big on Big Vince Norman? This is what you were all about, was Euro golf the past few weeks.
I really did enjoy the time off, but I equally enjoyed Aberg's win. Even though it wasn't on TV because we were watching Walker Cup coverage, but yeah.
It was at St. Andrews, so that was kind of nice.
I wish it was, yes, it was beautiful, and I wish golf's off season was longer. I'm not going to lie.
Well, I mean, it could have been a real offseason. You didn't have to watch the Swiss Masters, the D&D Czech Masters, or the Irish Open. You didn't have to watch any of that stuff. You could just pretend like they didn't happen, and it would be an offseason.
It still would have been a 2-week offseason.
Sure. Although I'm starting to be convinced that you don't have to pay attention to the Tour Championship either. That's fine.
I would agree with that.
All right. Well, we'll talk about both, because the better tournament is obviously at Wentworth this week for the BMW PGA Championship in Europe. But I think that most people watching this show want to hear about the Fortinet Championship, where Max Homa is the betting favorite, the two-time defending champion, when Danny Willett should have had his win a year ago in Napa. We're back on Poa Greens. It's a bomber's track, although it's a little bit shorter. There's 3 really gettable par 4, par 5s, and I think there's even a gettable par 4 on the docket as well. But he's 7-1. Thigala's 16. So is JT. Funny, we live in a world where Thigala and JT are up there. Jaeger and Cam Davis are both 20. Your boy, Bo Hostler, 22. Eric Cole, 30-1. Lucas Bale, 35-1, along with JJ Spawn and Brendan Todd and Andrew Putnam. But my bet came in with Bhatia at 40. I think Kenny Kim is on the same thing. And Tambo and Kenny have their DraftKings show up right now for the Fortinet if you want to take that. But that's where my money went immediately, and that's all I got going right now.
Yeah, so I've sort of slow-rolled this sucker, Pat. I've made a couple bets as well, but it's nothing even in front of 50-1. I have bet your boy, Doug Gim.
Oh, the Gim Reaper.
55-1. 55-1. He did lose nearly 10 strokes putting at the Wyndham in his last recorded start, but other than that, I feel like the upticks have been in the right place, and I've also got myself sucked into Dylan Wu, Pat, this week at 80-1, but I could be talked into anything. I got units to burn on this sucker. I've just got no real vibe right now. Do I want to waste money on Davis Thompson? That's where my head is at. Maybe I just shouldn't.
It's funny because when I started to look at it, because Gim leapt out to me as well, just to think about some of the winners that we've seen at this course. Cam Champ won at this course. We've just had Homa in back-to-back years. We had Brendan Steele in back-to-back years before, and I'm missing someone in there. I really, for the life of me, cannot remember who it was. And maybe it was at the Fries.com. Griot won this back in the day, in 2014. Good, great ball, prodigious ball strikers, bad putters. Although Cam Champ, and then we started to see bombers come into the conversation as well. It just kind of my eyes just keep going towards Pendrith and Montgomery. Maybe the reset on the season is exactly what Montgomery needed, or maybe he sucks now. I have no idea. But this is kind of where it all started for him last year when he kept reeling off those top fives. And on paper, this should be a perfect Pendrith course.
I really like both of those shouts. You wouldn't have to twist my arm hard to get in on Pendrith. And yeah, I was one of those guys that come the new year last year were betting Montgomery at ridiculous numbers, but in a swing season event north of 50-1, you're right. Maybe this is a place for us to jump in. I thought you would have bet Garrick Higo, but I guess he's the opposite. He's just the great putter. The player, he's a bit of the opposite player profile that you have highlighted, it seems here.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, the guy's top 10 in driving distance. His approach is just so bad. Like, he's not a good ball striker. He's just a great driver. And he is a pretty decent putter. Maybe, like, he can fit the Cam Champ mold of getting it done. But just, it's not that his game is lost. It's just not what it was. I mean, during COVID European Tour, guy was untouchable. Then he immediately comes over to America and wins on the PGA Tour. It's like, okay, this is kind of crazy, but he's kind of leveled off after that. I'm looking at right now at past 36 rounds at fantasynational.com, who my key stats, the model that I made. Gim is actually number 1 over the past 36 rounds. Jaeger, Cam Davis, Bhatia, and then it is Kevin Yu is next at number 5. Another guy who is like an elite off the tee player, an elite. He's not elite as it pertains to approach play, but he's top 35 in this field over the past few rounds, but past 36 rounds. But Kevin Yu is like the worst putter on the PGA Tour, and that's tough. He might as well be Luke List. And somehow he's even worse than on POA. Although at the John Deere Classic, he gained 8 strokes putting. But in his next 2 tournaments, he lost 6 and lost 6.
I'll tell you a guy I was interested in betting this week, but when I opened him up on Fantasy National, it's prevented me from making the bet thus far, although I still could be tempted, would be Justin Suh, Pat.
I know.
But, like, feels like he hasn't hit a green in well, I know there's been some time off, but even the last month, feel like the guy couldn't hit a green.
Well, how much stock do you put in like this swing season carrying over from like what we saw at the end of August? Like, although it doesn't feels like we've had no off season, although I know Justin Suh went over to play, I think it was the Swiss Masters that he ended up playing, or the Omega Masters in Switzerland. That like 3 weeks to a month off for these guys, can kind of get you reset, right? It's not like Taylor.
Totally.
It's not like they were like, "Hey, Taylor Pendrith, you playing in Czechoslovakia this week?" I'm like, no, he wasn't. He was chilling.
No, I totally agree with that. And essentially, the talent level of all these guys, even the guys at the lower end of this field, to me, like at this level of professional, for most of them, it really is like a small fix. That like just one instant small fix, and they're right back to being themselves. I think a lot of American golf fans would hope Justin Thomas can have that moment this week, and I don't want to like bog down what's just a short golf talk onto Justin, but what expectations do you have for him, Pat? Where can people frame it as a success? And I know it's football season, but what does Twitter look like if he misses the cut on Friday?
No one gives a shit if he misses the cut on Friday.
No
one cares. No, not because of football. Just no one cares what Justin Thomas does at Silverado. They care what he does in 2 weeks' time.
Agreed, but I feel like a miscut would pour gasoline on the conversation. I'm not projecting a miscut. I think if he finishes top 15, top 17, he could feel like he just kicked the can down the road positively, and that's all I would almost want to see from him. But playing can also make it like the results can go the other way. It can get worse, maybe.
I mean, that's potentially true, but does it really matter at all whether he plays well or like if he plays well at this tournament, like what's the gain for him? I guess if he wins, you're like, oh yeah, Justin Thomas has it figured out. He's going to be great at the Ryder Cup. Let's say he comes 6th. Or you're like, well, he's going to go play against these best guys from Europe and dominate them now. It's like, no, he has to beat a bunch of scrubs in a swing season event. And if he misses the cut, it's exactly where he's at right now.
See, I disagree. I think 6th is big. It just shows an uptick and like the direction is, and like confidence could be a little king, and just getting it going in the right direction in a tournament setting, I think is really important. While missing the cut, I could argue could be catastrophic.
Or it just gets him to Europe.
Catastrophic's earlier. A little hyperbole. I'll reel that in a little, but it'll make the noise go up tenfold, and it's almost like America's putting in so much effort to resurrect a pairing of 2 golfers who aren't even playing well. But we'll see.
Who's the other one?
Well, I don't think Spieth's playing well coming home either.
I thought Spieth was playing okay. Is he not?
I may have missed that. And I'm here to say, like, I think that the Thomas Spieth pairing is worthy of getting a chance to make their magic happen. And while we forever call them all-star teams, I totally get that when you're making these teams, doesn't go to the most deserving. They got to build the team, but I think it can get worse. You think it can't get worse? I think you think missing the cut is just like where we were? I disagree with that. I disagree with that.
I mean, you're not. No one's going to change their mind on Justin Thomas at this point if they're still caring about what the fuck happens at the Fortinet, which is going to have its cut happen at what Eastern time, 9:30 on a Friday night. Like, if you give a fuck about that, like, go fuck off, get a real life. Who cares?
I will be interested.
We always know this as a tournament where people go and drink a bunch of fucking wine all weekend.
Agreed.
This is a serious tournament.
Agreed, but I don't think Justin Thomas is going with the same attitude that Xander and Cantley showed up here in the past with their girlfriends. Like, I think it's a completely different situation for him this week. Like, he's determined to get it going in the right direction.
I mean, didn't he do that at the Wyndham? He came in 12th.
Good.
Like, it legitimately doesn't matter what he does this week. He's on the team, and he's going to show up and play how he plays.
That is, there's no disputing that.
And I'm starting to come around on that. This might be the best U.S. team that they've ever sent. There's no one bad on this team. Like, their worst player is Justin Thomas. Like, that's pretty good.
They've had bad players on their other teams.
Man, they've like
in recent years,
like your Nick Watneys or your fucking Kevin Kisner.
I mean, in recent years,
Horschels. Yeah.
And I agree that you're sure. Like, you can make the case, and it's hard to argue this is the best team they've ever sent. It's just weird that it's not as good as we thought it could be, or maybe should have been.
Sure, I would agree with that, but just to look at it on paper, it looks awesome.
When is the last time they sent a team on paper that didn't look awesome?
It's just at the very back end, you're like, oh, well, they can just hide that guy because the other 11 guys are awesome, or these 10 guys are awesome. They can just don't have to play these 2 guys. Like the team that they sent to France, like with Bubba was in the midst of a good year. We knew that wasn't going to be a good fit. Like, who is not a good fit on this team for the course that they're going to play? Like, is Sam Burns their worst player? And he's good.
They're all outstanding. I can tell you I've made a prop. I've bet Ludwig top rookie 5-1 because I think they're going to send him out with one of the superstars on day one. At least that's my bet. And then they win and they go again. And that would be my hope.
I don't know much about the recent Korn Ferry grads that are coming through, but the other guy that I was giving a look to, so Pendrith, Kevin Yu, Davis Thompson, I was looking at as well. So those 3 would kind of be on the short list. I'll throw all these in the newsletter if people want to see them. I'll check them up on Twitter.
And you're not betting Gim?
Probably not, no. Should I? Like what?
No, I don't know. He's number 1 in your model.
I know. I mean, that's not necessarily exactly what I'm looking for. I do want a guy who can make enough putts to win.
You need to make putts to win. You've been off him for a while, so you don't need to force it. That's for sure. I'm the dud that is like, thinks this might work for him.
Well, to go and look at it from a different angle as well, like I shrunk down the sample size to 8 rounds. And then we're looking at like Streelman, Trevor Cohn, Gim is up there. Luke List is actually up there. Max McGreevy keeps popping up. Another guy who just sucks at putting. Like Lipsky, Doc Redman. Hubbard was the one I wanted to talk about, though. Does it just feel like he's going to win at some point? Like during this swing season, wouldn't that make the most sense?
Absolutely. He can plot his way. We've seen guys, you can get around here plotting beautifully. What are we at? 55-1? What number for Hubbard? I could add anyone.
Hubbard
I'm looking for more
60-1. And Callum Tarrant was the other one. Just to, like, you want to talk about a guy like just pops up. The like shortish term, he's not great because he had 2 really bad tournaments to the end the season. But like the 4 before that, he was absolutely crushing it. And he is 90-1. No one's really a great odd here. Carol Wan 200.
Yeah, I mean, I get these are also the events where guys that I don't know, you bet a lot of golf. You sort of, if you believe in a loser or like, guy week in, week out's really not going to win much. Sometimes I just like blindly back them in shitty events like this. But my loser this week, I guess, is Dylan Wu.
Okay. I'll take Kevin Yu versus Dylan Wu with you.
I could bet Kevin Yu also. One of them's a great putter. One of them, you said, is the worst putter.
Yes.
But I'm not against betting. I regret I saw 100-1 on Kevin at the gate, but I wasn't ready to make bets yet, and I missed it. So I haven't betted at all.
The only thing I'm confirmed in on is Bhatia at 45-1, and I will be using him in my one and done this week. So don't use him too. Go to fantasygolfchampionships.com. Go register for that. It's $100, 1,000 to first. I think there's like 55 people in the pool. It's like the last of these contests, so let's fill it up, please. And we'll talk about the BMW Championship. I think your boy.
If you had to play someone at the top of the Fortinet, who would it be?
Homa.
If you had to.
Homa, the guy who's won 2 years in a row and is playing good golf.
I've seen like one of Sahith. I've seen, yeah, it's and he's been playing well coming in. I ignore the Tour Championship. It's a fair number. I've seen so many betting cards with one of Cam or Sahith. It seems like people really into.
I'll probably get sucked in because it's me. Although I'll try to turn over a new leaf in like 2024 as we do the betting show. But like betting Homa and Bhatia would make a ton of sense to me. But instead, I'll bet like Bhatia, Pendrith, and Kevin Yu, and Trevor Cohn, and losers like that, when I should just probably pick the guy who's going to win.
And can I say something that is not responsible, but it's how my brain works? I'm not going hard on this event anyway. So whatever happens with my shitty Doug Gim or Dylan Wu outrights, they'll all just bleed into whatever that Sunday football number is. Like I will not.
Yeah, but this isn't going to the Fortinet's not going to finish until like the middle of the Sunday night game.
Sure, I just mean like I'm not going like when my outrights lose and that gets added to my like losing for the week. Just be like, okay, I guess I just lost another football game. Like it's just I don't know. I'm an irresponsible guy like that.
BMW Championship at Wentworth. Hovland is the betting favorite, 6.5-1. Rory is 7-1. Rahm is 8.5-1. Fleetwood's 12. Fitzpatrick is 16. Hatton is 18. Lowry is 20. Tom Kim is 22. Aberg is 22. Min Woo is 28. Rose is 28. Scott and Højgaard are 35. Billy Ho and Moronk are 40. Seb Straka and Jordan Smith and Bjelk and Aaron Rye are 45-1. And Vince Norman is tied with your boy Thomas Dietrich and Ryan Fox. They're all 50-1. Norman coming off the win in Ireland a week ago. I bet Tom Kim at 28-1 earlier this week. He's down to 22. I'd still take that. I think I might just go Hatton and Tom Kim.
A whole Hatton, Tom Kim. I think Fitz should fit nice. And, you know, we're out of America. Maybe Tommy Fleetwood fits nice, but I'm not leaving the group of good players. If I did leave the good players, Pat, it would be to waste money on my guy Detry, but that would be Sadaka to a sports book. Fitz and Tom Kim I thought could fit real nice this week.
Yeah, just the accuracy. And listen, if the wind doesn't come, this course can get super easy. Like Thirsty Lawrence is a great driver of the ball. He can kind of take the Shane Lowry route from last year, where he's a pretty terrible putter, but you can kind of get it around on these slower greens. Guido's been playing great golf.
Yeah, he's had a couple like insane rounds each of the past few weeks, I feel.
And then other than that, I don't see anyone. I mean, Tom and Kenny and Tambo broke down the Fortinet field from a DraftKings perspective. And Tom and Sky did an entire hour on the betting card on Mayo Media Network. If you could check out the DP World Tour Picks and Bet show, they're far, far more tuned in than we are with the DP World Tour. But there's one name, DraftKings-wise, I'm going to throw this out here, that every time that I seriously sit down and watch Euro golf, this guy's name is up there. Couldn't tell you what he looks like, but I just see his name on the leaderboard, and I have no idea if he's good or if he's bad or if it's just a name that I recognize from random tournaments I watch. But Grant Forrest is just on leaderboards all the time. He might make like 2 cuts a year, but is definitely in the 2 tournaments that I watch.
I couldn't pick him out of a lineup.
Yeah, he was 3rd last week in Ireland. It's just like, okay. And he was 11th 9 weeks ago. I probably watched that tournament too. It's just like, fuck, this Grant Forrest guy's great. It turns out he's not great. Yes.
Rory has so much pull with the European Ryder Cup team, as he should, that they were forced to go on their scouting trip this week in front of Wentworth because Rory's got a stag next week.
I like it. Billy Ho has been good at this course, by the way. Remember he won 2 years ago?
Yeah, he uses an Aston Villa like golf bag when he comes and plays this event. I feel
I like
he
it.
loves it.
Lowry's the defending champ. Hatton won the year before that. Rory's gone second, ninth, second, miscut first in his past few appearances. But Guido has back-to-back top 20s, and Guido was ninth a year ago. The other one to look at, and he's 90-1, so I might actually end up being in on Guido. What's Sharma's number?
He has been fire. I don't have
Sharma's 150-1. He was third last week in Ireland, like whatever, and he was just cruising out of the gate. He was ninth here 2 years ago, I think. Yeah, he was ninth here 2 years ago. Missed the cut last year, ninth here 2 years ago. I mean, he was seventh last week. He missed the cut the week before that, and then his last appearance before anything, he was eighth. Is it time for Sharma to get some of the mo back?
It looks like it's coming slowly for him. I don't know, man. Like, it seems like the whole European Ryder Cup team is here, and one of those like top 7 are going to win.
Yeah, I mean, that would make a lot of sense considering that's who has won at this course. Let's see. Past winners. Yeah, Lowry, Horschel, Hatton, Willett, Francesco Molinari, Noren. Then it was Chris Wood and Ben Ann and Rory. And then Monteo Montesero. So,
yeah. So we used to like the Chris Wood, even the the Montesero, the Björn Hanan. Like, we've had some wild card winners a bit come and get this thing, but the last few years it's been pretty much pedigree.
Yeah, Rom's come second twice in the past 4 years. So yeah, Tom Kim, Hatton, Guido will be my 3 for the.
If I had to play one of the super elites, I would take the biggest number and take John Rahm.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Plays very well in Europe. All right, I just wanted to talk some golf. We haven't talked golf in a while.
Can't wait. We'll do maybe we'll do it next week. Is there golf next week? No, there isn't.
Sanderson Farms.
Sanderson Farms. There's Live Chicago. There's Solheim Cup. So I guess there's actually a lot of golf next week. And then Ryder Cup.
What's the Solheim Cup?
You don't know what it is?
No. What is it? Some college event?
It's the women's Ryder Cup.
Oh, they play that the week before the actual Ryder Cup?
It seems like it. I actually don't even know where it is. It's like a pick'em though, so I'll probably bet it because I love watching matches.
Sweet. All right, that'll do it on the Pat Mayo Experience. Fill up that one and done. Check out the other shows on Mayo Media Network for golf, and hopefully we can snag a few winners. You want more of me and Jeff? Check out the Spread Pick Show on Mayo Media Network, or more of me, Cam, and Rob. That's coming out with the best bets every Wednesday on Mayo Media Network during football season as well. Thank you all for watching. I'm Pat Mayo. See you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience! Experience!